Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Īśāvāsyamidagum sarvam yatkinca jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjidhamagrakasya siddhanam kurvanneveha karmani vishechitagum samaha. Yevam tvahinantyate tosti na karma lipyate nare asuryanamate loka anthena tamasa prataha tagumste pretyabhigachanti ye kechatmahano janaha Anejadekam manasochaviyo nainadeva apnuvan purvamarshad tadbhavato jnanate titishtat tasmin napo matarishva dadati Tade jati tannai jati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bahyataha.
We are entering into the study of the Upanishad. Whatsoever text we study, whatsoever book we read, the Upanishad has a different clarity. The Upanishad has a different flavor. The Upanishad has a different clarity. The way in which it approaches itself is very different. And we are entering into the study of the Upanishad. The Vedas are called Samhitas. Vedas is knowledge. Veda means, the very Sanskrit word Veda means knowledge. And if you look at the Vedas is almost like Britannica Encyclopedia. It has everything in it. You go to the Vedas and read, it has everything in it. All knowledges that humanity knew in the past, they will categorize it as Veda. There is no spiritual knowledge and worldly knowledge differences and all. Vedas doesn't bring. Knowledge is knowledge. One kind of knowledge helps to make life better. Another kind of knowledge makes you a better human being. Distinct and different from that is the knowledge of the Upanishad. Now we are going to see the hierarchies. Now what we call as worldly knowledges or a secular knowledge, or what we call a scientific knowledge. The knowledge of science. Now, when we say knowledge of science, we actually don't mean only math, physics, and chemistry. All worldly knowledges in one word is called as science. Now, all worldly knowledges has an aim, a purpose. Knowledge itself has a purpose. What is the purpose of knowledge? The purpose of knowledge is to reveal something, and that revelation is going to be beneficial to you. That is the meaning of the word knowledge. Knowledge means it has to reveal something to you. And when it reveals something to you, it has to be beneficial to you. Then only it can be called as knowledge. Therefore, there is one kind of knowledge, which is all the worldly knowledges, which we call as the science, etc. Now, what does that knowledge do? That knowledge will make the external life better. External life better as in we can communicate better, we can travel faster, we can do so many things. Um, like even here now, sitting in one place, we are sitting and talking. I don't know where all we are talking now. But then I didn't even move out of my 2x2 room, 2x2 study place that I have. From that we are reaching everywhere. Now, this is one kind of knowledge. Another kind of knowledge is that which brings about a state of mental peace, etc. That is another kind of knowledge. Distinct and different from that is the third kind of knowledge, the Upanishad. And the Upanishad is also called Brahma Vidya. Now, all put together comes in this one book called Veda. So, Veda means knowledge. It has all kinds of knowledge in it. It has all the worldly knowledges. It has the knowledge that which is going to make you emotionally stable and better relatively. And then the third kind of knowledge, which is the Upanishad, the highest, the Brahma Vidya. Now, most of the time, people say, even we also have heard it any number of times. Veda means knowledge, Anta means the end. The end portion of knowledge is the Vedas. The end portion of the knowledge is the Vedas. Now you must understand one thing. Upanishads are, carefully follow what I am saying and write it down. Na? Upanishads are the one that rebels against the Vedas. The Upanishads are rebellion against the Veda. That is why we give it that's why the Vedas give it a very high status. Now, actually speaking, that which is rebelling, you should be, if something is rebelling, what should be done? You should dismiss it, not pay attention to it. Here, the Upanishad says Paravidya, Aparavidya. In the Mundaka is a very beautiful thing. Now I'm going to tell you a few things that we'll be doing in these Upanishadic discourses. And Venkat, Amit Kelvilan ketarna ban pandum. Because I'm going to refer so many Upanishads backwards and forwards, etc. I'll be like, no, then what is this? What is that? No, then we have to do 12 Upanishad series, even though I love to do that. All right, now, when do we get a chance to talk about all this? God only knows. No, there is this, I'm not saying inferior, there is this Bhajagovindam, there is this Atmabodha, then there is this, the most boring, uninteresting subject on this planet, Dharma Shastra. Who wants to talk about all that? Such a, and the word Upanishad, it's like I was getting excited. I was telling Ranjini yesterday, oh my God, tomorrow Upanishad class, I have to get up, sit and study, prepare and come for the class. Such a beautiful. Why? The Upanishads are the rebels against the Vedas. Because it rebellion in the sense of not criticizing and condemning, rebelling in the sense of exposing the limitations and taking it to the highest level. That is the Upanishad. That is where the Upanishad says Paravidya and Aparavidya. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. And then he says, Vedavada Rataha. Vedavada Rataha. All these people will sit and talk about all these things. Arjuna, waste of time this is. Brahma Vidya. The Upanishads directly talks about the Brahma Vidya. And it takes the very discussion to a point which is so beautiful. And that's why we have such a big respect and affinity and gratitude to this book called the Upanishad. So first thing that we understand is what? Upanishads is the rebellions against the Vedas. Rebellions against the Vedas in the sense of don't be complacent with a happy life. That is rebellion. What is it, rebels? Don't be complacent with a happy life. Oh, I'm very happy. I'm very peaceful. Everything in life is going on smooth now. But finally, I got what I want. The Upanishad comes and says, don't be a fool. The Upanishad will come and say, don't be a fool, because this is not what it is for. In that sense, Upanishad is a rebellion. Rebellion against what? Rebellion against the mind's complacency with the goodness of life. When there is pain and suffering, everybody will want to look for a solution. But when everything is good, and that good state is in what we call a swarga, when everything is going fine, well, better, why will anybody have the motivation to understand the futility of goodness? It's easy to understand the futility of pain and misery. Very difficult to understand the futility of goodness and joy and happiness. Will anybody do that? Upanishads do that. In that sense, Upanishad is a rebellion against the Vedas, which is aimed at making life better. But then we also understand that better life is necessary at one stage. But then that betterness should not lead to a complacency. Actually, what happens? The better life will lead to a kind of complacency. And that complacency makes you go down. Therefore, the Upanishad comes and says, Veda Anta. The aim of knowledge, the purpose of knowledge is to reveal something which is supreme. What does the Upanishad emphasize? The Upanishads emphasize is this. It distinguishes between having knowledge of God versus mumukshatva and becoming God. That's the difference it brings. That is a fundamental difference that the Upanishad itself brings. The Upanishad is for direct experience. The Upanishad is for direct Aham Brahmasmi. The Upanishad is for the direct experience of, you can call it Brahman, you can call it God, you can call it godliness, whatever word you want to use, you can use. But Upanishad is emphasis on the Upanishad always emphasizes on direct experience. Distinct and different from the direct experience is knowledge. Veda means knowledge, and just having the knowledge itself can make you think you have become wise. That's where Upanishad rebels against. Because information is very cheap. Amit, information, knowledge is very cheap. Why do we say it's very cheap? Because you can be as you are and keep on gaining more and more knowledge. In that sense, it's cheap. Cheap not in the sense of free classes, sir, not in that sense. Cheap not in that sense, please. Not in that sense. We don't make it so. We don't discuss it from those angles. Cheap means what? Mohan, Purida, cheap you can go on becoming, you can go on gaining more and more and more and more knowledge and still be exactly the same person. Meaning the worries, the anxieties, the anger, the jealousies, the frustrations, etc., all that can be the same. On the other hand, you can gain more and more and more knowledge also. You understand the difference? Here, the Upanishad comes and says, if you have mere knowledge, with that knowledge, first you will deceive others. By deceiving others, you will get deceived. This is where Upanishads are. Upanishads takes a very bold step towards the knowledge of scriptures itself. Here, we are talking about the knowledge of scriptures, not the worldly knowledges. Are able to follow what knowledge are we discussing now? We are not talking about worldly knowledges. We are talking about scriptural knowledges. You can gain more and more and more knowledge of the scriptures. You can gain more and more and more knowledge of dharma. You can be a very good teacher of dharma and still be very, and you can still be very adharmic. And the person won't even know. Why? This is where andam tamah pravishanti. We are going to discuss all that. The Upanishads is going to discuss everything in detail. Īśāvāsya is going to talk about it as three beautiful qualities it is going to talk about later. Shoka, moha, vijugupsa. Tatra ko shokaha ka mohaha na vijugupsate. We are proposing, not we are proposing, I have decided to study the Upanishad word by word. I am going to study it word by word we are going to do. Vijayarangan. 18 mantras of Īśāvāsyopaniṣad will have 120 words. Abdinna 120 words in the 120 classes. God only knows how much it will take. So we are going to go word by word a lot. We are not going to just read we are not going to get the general gist, because we have already gotten the general gist and we have studied already those things. Now here we are trying to see, can we go little bit deeper. So if we have to go a little bit deeper, we'll take word. And then and Īśāvāsyopaniṣad is so beautiful. Each and every word is unique in Īśāvāsya. And if you take the dictionary meaning and the Īśāvāsya mantra meaning, it will not be the same. That's why you cannot read Īśāvāsya with the Sanskrit dictionary. Because the meaning that Īśāvāsya brings itself is so unique. So unique. Why? Because it is against knowing without making an effort to transform. First thing it says, knowing without making an effort to transform is useless. Knowing doesn't require a lot of effort. Transformation is very difficult, arduous it is. Because lot of tapas needs to be done. Information doesn't require to just gaining more and more and more knowledge, doesn't require any tapas on your part. But transformation requires a lot of tapas. And transformation means an inner revolution. Remember, transformation means an inner revolution. And the Upanishad says, we are with you. We are with you right through the process of inner revolution. We are with you. You can have knowledge and the knowledge will become a mask. And others get deceived at that mask. Carefully follow. knowledge becomes a mask and others get deceived by the mask. All that is needed is what? You should know how to articulate better. You should know how to quote a few things better. If you know how to explain better, and that's a very beautiful face, and everybody will get carried away by the mask. Correct? Now carefully follow. Others will get carried away by the mask. Very soon, your true face will get revealed to them. Carefully follow. Initially, they will get carried away by the mask. Very soon, your real face will get revealed to them. By that time, a disaster would have happened to you as a person. What? You would have believed in the mask so much about yourself. That is an inner revolution. That is the inner revolution the Upanishad always talks about. Are you able to follow? The person that. That's why we are going to see those who come into spiritual growth and knowledge are in Andam Tamaha, greater than blinding darkness. This is the Veda. So the Vedas talks about all kinds of knowledges, and all kinds of knowledges can make your life better, and that better life can make you very complacent. Bad life, painful life will not make you complacent. A good life will make you complacent. Have you ever observed that? When you're going through some pain and misery and all that, you are very alert, wanting to fight, etc. When things are smooth and going well, you don't become more sattvic, you don't become transcendental. You get very complacent. Complacency means a kind of, yeah, good. Life is going good. I'm happy. Everything around me is also happy. Then why waste time about the higher things? That is what Upanishads is rebelling. That's what Upanishad says. Veda Anta. And then we have seen any number of times the division between Veda Purva and Veda Anta. The Veda itself we divided into two. Veda Purva and Veda Anta. Now this Veda Purva and Veda Anta distinction again is very unique only to the Upanishad tradition which believes in Aikyam. This Veda Purva, Vedanta distinction, nobody else will talk about. Or in the modern day context, a very small section of Advaita will divide Veda into Purva and Anta. For the rest, there is only one thing called Veda. So they will not have this Veda Purva and Veda Anta. Even though they use the word Vedanta, they will not have this distinction. Here, we try to distinguish between the two, Veda Purva and Veda Anta. Purva has its role, Anta has its role, and one complements the other. Veda Purva also has a necessary role. Veda Anta also has a necessary role, and one complements the other. Now, how does that work? How does that work? For which we have to really do some exploration into the word Upanishad itself. The very word Upanishad itself we will explore. And we have seen any number of times. The word Upanishad is 3 words. Even though it looks like one word, it's not one word. It's 3 words. Upa plus Ni plus Shat. Upa plus Ni plus Shat equals Upanishad. And the root is Shat. The root is Shat. Little bit of Sanskrit grammar and pronunciation also will come in between now. When you say Upanishad and then when you break it, we should say Sat. We will not say Shat. That's why when we write the Sha and Sa, we differ. sha, sa, sa, ha. No, that mild difference we bring. So when we write it as when we write it separately, we will call it as sat, as in satyam. The sa that comes in satyam becomes the there are three words. Shariram is one. Satyam is sa. Shariram is sha. And then here we use another word sha. Pa plus ni plus sat. This is where I get very excited, because all this we can do only when we are studying Upanishad. We can go into these kind of explanations and details and all that. By the time we come to the fourth class, I don't know how many are going to survive only. Fourth Upanishad class வரும்போது எவ்வளவு பேர் இருக்க போறோமோ தெரியல எனக்கே. But then we will, even if nobody is there, we'll still talk looking at the empty screen. Doesn't make you follow. So the sad is the root. And the word upa plus ni plus shad itself has various meanings. And based on the various meanings, we get a comprehensive knowledge of what that book is trying to teach us. Upa plus ni plus shad. And then we said the root word is shat. So the first meaning of the word shat is to sit. Upanishad means sit. Vivekananda took the first meaning of the word shad and he said Upanishad is sit near below. He translated Upanishad as sit near below. So sit near below literature. Upanishad, he says, he defined it as sit near below literature. Okay. Vivekananda translated it like that. So the first meaning of the word shat is to sit. Sit implies physical sitting and sit implies psychological sitting. So the two meanings to the word sit. So the first meaning to the word the first meaning to the word sit is physical sitting, where you are physically sitting. But then obviously it doesn't mean that meaning alone. Then we expand it further. Then what is it? From sit, the second meaning of the shat becomes to settle down. Settle. You are sitting in a settled state. So the shat means you are sitting settled. Settled means what? Okay, what is the opposite of settling? Opposite of settling is you are always in a state of chaos. Always in a state of confusion, chaos, turmoil, unsettled, hesitating, confused, not knowing what to do, what not to do. All this means unsettled. So Upanishad means the one who's sitting settled. Settled means chapter over. That's it. No more of this. No more of this wavering, moving. No, that's the second meaning of the word shat. So the first meaning of the word is to sit. Sitting doesn't mean physically, it means mentally. You are mentally sitting. Mental sitting means what? What is the nature of the mind? Samshaya. The nature of the mind is samshaya. So shat means that samshaya is gone. Samshaya part of it is over. What is the samshayam that is gone? When you are settled, there is a clarity. Unsettled means lack of clarity. What does unsettling means? So many doubts. So many doubts. Doubts about, carefully follow, doubts about knowledge. Please, and it's doubt about the knowledge. If there is doubt about the knowledge, obviously there will be a doubt about the teacher also. Because it will transfer to the teacher. Like for example, when you go to a doctor, you don't know the doctor. You don't know the doctor. You don't know the personality of the doctor. But then what makes you to trust the doctor? Because you trust the knowledge. You trust the doctor, even though you don't know anything about the doctor. Why? Because you trust the knowledge. What is the knowledge? There is a systematic knowledge, and that person has gone through the training, the knowledge. Therefore, the person becomes trustworthy. That's why they have the certificates framed and kept. No, why they have the certificate framed and kept? Why do they talk about the registration number and all that? You also have your registration number, architecture registration number. You got. Even though she doesn't know anything about architecture, but she has a number. I don't know who gave her that number. Like, why? Because you trust the knowledge. When you trust the knowledge, automatically the one who has the knowledge becomes trustworthy. Now it's not the reverse. You cannot trust the person and then go to the knowledge. You have to have the knowledge and then it transfers to the person. Then it is shad, settled. Then it is shad. Very easy to trust the person in the beginning. Why? Because actually you are not trusting, you are getting carried away by the mask. That's why we started by saying that. Most of the time, straight away, people get carried away by the mask. And getting carried away by the mask makes you trust the person. And then when the real personality gets revealed, the trust goes out on knowledge itself. The trust goes out on the knowledge itself. So settled here means what? The second meaning of the word shad means it is settling. Settling means settling in mental settlement. First meaning of the word shad is to sit. Second meaning is to settle. The third meaning is when you are settled. When you are settled, the third meaning of the shad is approach. The first is sitting. The second meaning is settled. When you sit, settled, automatically the third thing comes about. What is it? You approach. And who will you approach? Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Who will you approach? That's where the seeker goes seeking the master. So approach. So sit, settled, approach. இவ்வளோ மீனிங் இருக்குது ஷத்துக்கு. And this is not only the meaning, I'm going to give more meanings also. Don't worry. Enough, we will, I told you, no, each and every word we will try to expand as much as we can. Who will you, who will you approach? When you are settled, whom will you approach? The one who is godly. The one who is godly. Why do you approach the one who is godly? Because you are seeking godliness. Because you are seeking godliness, you will reach the one who is godly. You see that person, I don't know what happens, something happens. Some inner, I don't know what word to use, but then I will use very different word which the modern people only use. A different kind of a chemistry clicks in. A different kind of an approach, a different kind of a connect, a different kind of an association. That is what is meant by Shat. It means what? Now, to approach a master, to sit with the master settled. In a settled state, you approach the master. That's the meaning of the word shat. Now, there are other two words also. No, upa is also there. Ni is also there. Now, what does that ni means? Ni means nischaya jnana. The knowledge has to be the knowledge that comes must be of nischaya. Nischaya means the knowledge must be clear. You approach the master. And the master is godly. But then doesn't know how to elaborate it, explain it. Buddha talks about two kinds of masters. Buddha talks about two kinds of, one he calls as bodhisattva, another he calls as arhata. Arhata means one who is enlightened but cannot teach. Bodhisattva means one who is enlightened and teach. Now he just used two words, but the idea is from the Upanishad again. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. So Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam is what he calls as Arhata and Bodhisattva. And very rarely you get a Bodhisattva. Lot of Arhata will be there. Lot of enlightened masters will be there. Lot of enlightened people will be there. Most of us, we don't even know that they are enlightened because they just exist and pass away quietly. Very few know how to expand, elaborate. So ni means the one who can do this nischaya jnana. There is another meaning to the word sat. First, I will finish sadhu fully. I'm just going backwards and forwards. So please slow up over it. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. We want to. Reaching settled approach is one meaning of the word sat. Another meaning of the word sat is gamayati, that leads you. There's another meaning to the word sat. One meaning is settled approach. That is all that has and further elaborations of the same word. Distinct and different is gamayati. Reaching or leading or taking to a place. That is another meaning of the word sad. So sad means one who is a leader, a taker, a reacher. So sad means a leader. Who can lead you? The one who has already walked. It's a single file road. It's a single, okay. The one who draw the map is the one who has already walked, no? What does it mean? Who can give you the map? Who is the map maker? Imagine the map, at least I used to think, who's the map maker? See, we all know how to use the map. Imagine the map maker, what he would have used. What he would have used to draw that map. We say, wow, you know what? He knew that, he went, not only he went, he drew the map and gave it to, so the sad means, the one who's leading, reaching, taking to a place. Brahma gamayati iti sat. So many, this is where the Brahma Sutras and all is so important. All these elaborations comes in those books. Brahma Sutras is 12 Upanishads. 12 Upanishads, Padichitu, you should go to the Brahma Sutras. Now we are struggling with 3, 4 only, we are struggling. So there, it comes that meaning. What does that sad means? Brahma gamayati iti sad. Brahma gamayati iti sad means That which takes you to Brahman. Please understand, that which doesn't take you to Swarga, that which doesn't make your life happy better. Brahma gamayati. Not Swarga gamayati, Ananda gamayati. Brahma gamayati iti sat. And how does it take it? When it takes you, how does it take? It takes you so beautifully that all sorrows gets destroyed. So another meaning of the word sat is destroyer of sorrow. Destroyer of sorrow, because the one who is in the Brahma, the one who is walking in the path of Brahman is not a sorrowful, crying, miserable person. Because a crying, miserable person needs to, a crying, miserable, frustrated person needs to do other things. We are going to see that now. That's a different method. Now the crying, miserable, frustrated human being, liberation is a solution. Nah? Brahma Vidya is a solution for that. No, no, no. Adagulanda Dharma Shastra. That is the department of Dharma Shastra. We are going to see that when the knee is going to bring that distinction. The knee is going to bring that distinction. So the word sat, settled, settled approach. And when you approach it, it's going to take you. Approaching for what? Gamayati. To take you to Brahman. So Sat becomes Brahma Vidya. Sat becomes Brahma Vidya, that's all. 45 minutes at just to explain this one word, Saumitra, 45 minutes is gone. I don't know when we will finish Ni, when we will finish Shat, and then Upa, and then come to the actual Īśāvāsya, we don't know. Beautiful is this Upanishad. We should get that. The Upanishads lifts the inspiration levels up. That's why we need to revisit it again and again and again. The Upanishads alone can lift you up to that heights of inspiration. And that heights of inspiration is motivating to do the other things. Because you need that inspiration, you need the motivation of that inspiration to do the other things. Without that inspiration, you cannot. Otherwise, why do you talk about Upanishad again and again and again, everything? And after a very, very long time, I don't know, I think maybe after 25 years, I'm doing an Upanishad study class, weekly class. First, I did it once and then I said, no, it's not. But then inspiration. We need that inspiration. There is some basic knowledge is there, some basic understanding is there. Then every now and then we can reach to the level of inspiration and do the right thing. And then the inspiration levels will come down. And then we boost, another injection we give. And then we boost. We keep going like that. This is the meaning of the word Sat. Then comes the next word, Ni. Ni means Nischaya Jnana. What is Ni means? Sat said it will give you knowledge. Ni is going to talk about the conditions for gaining this knowledge. First is the knowledge. Another is the conditions necessary for gaining this knowledge. The moment we talk about the conditions that is necessary for gaining this knowledge, we go into another angle of discussion. So what does Ni means? The Ni means the conditions for gaining the knowledge, because knowledge gives you a benefit. Just by reading is not going to give you the benefit. A few things also must be taken into consideration to give the benefit. What is the benefit? Nischayatmaka Jnanam. That's the meaning. Ni means Nischayatmaka. Nischaya Jnana. What does Nischaya means? Number one, knowledge should be clear. Number two, it should be free from doubts. Number three, it should destroy the sorrow. Should destroy the sorrow. First, it should be clear. Then it should be free from Doubts, 3. It should clear the habits that we have developed through vasanas. It should eradicate that. It should eradicate that. Then the jnanam is nischaya jnanam. What does that mean? Carefully follow now. You have an average intelligence ability, you can grasp the knowledge. Average intelligence is enough to grasp the knowledge. But the emotions, raga, dvesha, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, bhaya, dvesha, all these are still there. All this is called pratibandha. A few technical terms we will learn. A few technical terms we will learn. All this is called pratibandha. Pratibandha means obstacles. You have the knowledge, and then there is something which is obstacle to the knowledge. And what are the obstacles to the knowledge? It's not about intelligence. Through intelligence, you have grasped it. Through intelligence, you have grasped it. You have understood it. You can also retain it. But the knowledge didn't do one thing. What? It didn't remove the third part of Nishchayatmaka didn't happen. Therefore, number 1, knowledge should be free of doubt at the intellectual level. It should be clear and free of doubts at the intellectual level. At the emotional level, it should play. So, ni means the knowledge that plays at the intellectual level and at the emotional level. Most of the times, it only takes care of that intellectual level. Emotional level, we continue to remain as we are the same. Emotionally, we still continue to remain the same, but this goes on increasing. Are you able to follow? That's why people come and say, sir, after 25, 30 years of listening to Vedanta, also nothing is happening, sir. And I said, why only 25, 30 years, 25, 30? Janmas also nothing will happen. Here, carefully follow. Here, the problem is not the absence of knowledge. Nishayatmakala, the first two is taken care of at the intellect level. So here is not the problem of lack of knowledge. It's not the absence of knowledge or lack of knowledge. It is the problem of what we call as emotional maturity. What we call as emotional maturity. Are you okay till now? Upanishad will say this emotional maturity is not my department. You have to go to Dharma Shastra for that. Because it is Dharma Shastra that will give you the emotional maturity, and you go there, gain that emotional maturity and come back. Now, for you to go to Dharma Shastra, you need motivation, inspiration. Upanishad will give you that motivation, inspiration. That's why both goes hand in hand. Are you able to follow why we keep combining both? The motivation to go to Dharma Shastra, the inspiration itself will come from the Upanishad. Therefore, the Upanishad says, this is not my amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, adveshta, sarvabhutanam, maitraha, karuna, evacha, Bhagavad Gita. All this is Bhagavad Gita. Now, so he says that is that the emotional maturity is not mine. No, it's not like that. I will give it to you in concept, concise form here. The Dharma Shastra will elaborate it. It's not that Upanishads don't do that, but the Upanishads deals with it at a very different level. In a very concise way, it will define. Dharma Shastra will dilute and give. Now, diluted form is easy to digest first. Anything in a diluted form is easy to take in first because we cannot take the core straight away. It's not the Upanishads don't do that. Upanishads also do that, but then they do it in a very different way. So what does ni means? Nischaya jnanam, maturity. Maturity means it should give you an intellectual clarity, and that intellectual clarity along with emotional maturity. Then that knowledge is nischaya jnanam. Sat we finished, and then we discuss this. Ni. Then comes the third word, Upa. Upa is the method. Upa means upaya, method. Method. We have only, as far as the Vedas are concerned, there is only one way, Upa. Upa means, this is where it's a bit complicated stuff, this Upa. Why? Because the word Upa means Upa to the Guru. In the Sad and the Ni, the Guru doesn't come into play. In the word Upa, the Guru comes into play. Upa means near. Near to whom? Not to the book, to the Guru. So, Guru Upasadhanam. Near to the Guru. Tadvijnanartham. எங்க படிச்சிருக்கிறோம் அது? Just now we studied. Tadvijnanartham sa gurube abhigachet shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Mundaka. Upa. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Bhagavad Gita. Padekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Who will teach you, Arjuna? Who will teach you? Yeah. My Saturday class teachers will not come and teach you. Tattvadarshina. They will come and teach you. They themselves will come and teach. Chandogyopanishad says, Acharyavan Purusho Vedaha. Veda and Acharya is one and the Acharyavan Purusho Vedaha. It gives the Guru the status of the Veda. Veda means Pramanam. The Guru gets the status of the Pramanam. Chandogya. The Chandogya talks about it very beautifully. So, sit near below. Below is the method, humility. The method to gain this knowledge is by humility. Because going to the teacher is an indication of shedding the ego. Going to the teacher is an indicator of shedding the ego. And the Guru will see whether if you are full of ego, the Guru says, I have no time. If you are full of ego, the Guru says, I have no time to deal with you. Shed the ego. You may not have shed the ego completely, but at least the fire to shed the ego must be there. As long as the fire to shed the ego is there, that is enough. Upanishad. Surrender to the knowledge, surrender to the teaching. Surrender to the teacher and surrender to the teaching. Both put together is called Upa. Of the two, the Guru will always say surrender to the knowledge. The Sishya will always say surrender to the Guru. It's two different languages. The Guru will never say surrender to, the Guru will not say surrender to me. The Guru will always say surrender to the knowledge. And the Sishya always says surrender to the Guru. Why? Because Chandogya Veda has already established it very clearly. What did it establish? Acharyavan Purusho Veda. So, the word Upanishad means what now? Approaching the teacher with reverence. Approaching the teacher with surrender. Surrender comes as the effect of emotional maturity. Surrender comes only when you have a ignorant person cannot surrender. A person of knowledge and emotional maturity can surrender. An ignorant person will say, teach me. I will decide what I want to do. Ignorant person will say, teach me, I will decide what I want to do. The seeker says, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. That's a very that's the clear. So Upanishad means in the traditional sense, the word Upanishad means the knowledge that will destroy ignorance if it is clearly gained and assimilated by approaching the teacher. This is the Upanishad meaning itself. This is the meaning of the Upanishad. It means what? A knowledge that will destroy sorrow, ignorance. Ignorance and sorrow we are using very synonymously. A knowledge that will destroy ignorance if, put that condition, if that's what ni comes, nishchaya jnana. If it is gained clearly and assimilated by approaching a teacher. If you join all of them and put together, it will come to one thing called Brahma Vidya. It will come to one thing called Brahma Vidya, and this Brahma Vidya is a pramanam. We give the status of the Upanishad a pramanam. Pramanam means a conclusive knowledge that need not be cross-checked or verified. That's what pramanam means. Eyes reveal color and form. Do you cross-check it with ears? Ears reveal sound. Do you cross-check it with the tongue? It reveals, and the revelation is so complete. It means the Upanishad is not the textbook knowledge. It's the knowledge that reveals Brahman to you by making you Brahman. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. Therefore, Upanishad teaches you Brahma Vidya not as a book. Upanishad doesn't teach Brahma Vidya as a bookish knowledge. It teaches you Brahman by helping you to become Brahman. And then we say it's a pramanam, authoritative knowledge. Why it is an authoritative knowledge? Because no other knowledges can reveal Brahman. Just as I can only reveal color and form, it's the only authority for color and form. So, ear is the only authority for the sound. Similarly, Upanishad is the only authority for Brahman. But sir, there are so many other things also, no? Can we get Brahman through chakra balancing? Can't we? No, okay, sir. Why only Upanishad? Can we get Brahman through chakra balancing? Can we get Brahman through breathing in and breathing out? Can I get Brahman by chanting? Can I get Brahman by this method, by that method? It says no. All these methods brings about an emotional maturity. All these are meaningful, but not for Brahman. It's to bring about what we call as the pratibandhas. Remember the pratibandhas we spoke about? Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya, Dvesha, the pratibandhas, that is obstructing the knowledge. All these practices can deal with the pratibandhas, but it cannot reveal Brahman. Brahman can be revealed only through the Upanishad. Therefore, the Upanishad, we gives the status of a pramanam. And the Taittiriya Upanishad says, this Brahma Vidya reveals Brahman by destroying samsara. How it reveals? It reveals by destroying samsara. Can the word knowledge destroy samsara, or Actual doing something will change the, will burn the samsara. The actual doing something alone will burn the samsara. The word burn it, burn it, burn it will not actually burn it. It means the words are not the teacher. If the words can teach, burn the samsara, you have intellectually understood it, samsara should have gotten burnt. But still the samsara didn't get burnt. It is still there. Therefore, it actually means what? It doesn't destroy samsara as in a theoretical elaboration explanation. It destroys samsara by making you become Brahman. And then later on, we are going to see, no, it's not that the Upanishad is making you Brahman. You are Brahman already. That's what we are going to see later. It's not the Upanishad that is going to make you Brahman. If Upanishad can make you Brahman, somebody else can come and undo that also. Therefore, it is not the Upanishad that is making you Brahman. Brahman, you are already. And this Upanishad that we are studying is called Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. And the Īśāvāsyopaniṣad comes in Shukla Yajurveda. Now a little bit of academic details for the next 2 minutes. That's all. And formality, isn't it? We have to give this. It comes in the Shukla Yajurveda. And the Shukla Yajurveda has 2 beautiful Upanishads. All Vedas have Upanishad. This Shukla Yajurveda has 2 beautiful Upanishads. Īśāvāsya is one Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka is another Upanishad. That is why we always say Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is a commentary on Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. And Brihadaranyaka itself is a huge Upanishad, even though Chandogya is the biggest. Chandogya has some 500 and odd mantras. Brihadaranyaka has some 450 mantras. And this 450 mantras of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we call it as commentary on Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. Why? Because Īśāvāsya has the status of the Mantropanishad. The rest that's called a Brahmana Upanishad. Mantra Upanishad means that which gives the truths precisely. Doesn't bother about any explanation. Brahmana Upanishad will elaborate it. 2. Mantra Upanishad will come in the Samhita portion itself. When we say Veda Anta, you don't go to the last chapter of the Veda book and say where is Upanishad. It does say it is not the Veda Anta, end of the Vedas, as in not the last chapter. It's a development of thought and it concludes. So some of the Upanishads will come in the Samhita portion itself. Some will come in the Aranyaka portion. That's why it says Brihat Aranyaka. Brihadaranyaka itself, the word Aranyaka comes in. It means the Vedas itself is divided into sections. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. But sir, Upanishad comes in Samhita, Upanishad comes in Brahmana, Upanishad comes in Aranyaka. It means what? Upanishad is the culmination of these thoughts. Upanishad is not the last thing. Because here we find the Taittiriya comes in the Taittiriya Samhita portion itself. That's why when we study Taittiriya, we say Taittiriya Samhita. Similarly, Īśāvāsyopaniṣad also comes in the Brahmana portion itself. And Brihadaranyaka elaborates it. And Brihadaranyaka elaborates it further. And Shukla Yajurveda invocation is Purnamada Purnamida. Every Upanishad will have an invocation. Every Upanishad has invocation. And the Shukla Yajurveda Upanishad is Shukla Yajurveda invocatory prayer is Purnamada. Actually, Purnamada is not an invocation at all. Purnamada is not an invocation at all. For example, invocation is called Shanti Pata. Just as in all the pujas that we do, what is the first puja? What is the first puja that we do in all the pujas? Ganesha Puja. Ganesh Puja is what we do first. Vigna Nivritti. Now the Ganesh Puja for the teaching is invocatory prayer. It's the same principle. So whenever we do the Shanti, whenever we do the invocatory prayer, Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Punaktu, you must understand it as what? Vigna Nivritti. So Shanti Pata, every Veda has its own Shanti Pata. Rigveda has a Shanti Pata. All Rigveda Upanishads will have a Shanti Pata. That is Vang Me Manasi Pratishta. Let this settle in that. Let this. So Vang Me Manasi Pratishta is the invocatory prayer that comes for all the Rigveda Upanishads. Samaveda Upanishad. Apyayantu mamangani vak pranaschakshushrotramato balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam. That is Samaveda invocatory prayer. Atharva Veda invocatory prayer. Bhadram karne vishnuyama devaha. Bhadram pashyema kshabirya jatraha. Three Vedas. Three Vedas, we got three Shanti Patas. Now, Yajurveda, again, is a complicated Veda because it has two parts. Shukla Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda. Krishna Yajurveda Shanti Pata is the most popular Shanti Pata. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvinavadi Damastu Mavidvisha, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That is the Krishna Yajurveda Shanti Pata. Now the Upanishad, Īśāvāsyopaniṣad that we are studying comes under Shukla Yajurveda. Therefore, Shukla Yajurveda Shanti Pata is Purnamada Purnamidam. So the Brihadaranyaka and Īśāvāsya will have the same invocatory prayer. Purnamada Purnamidam. And this invocatory itself is unique from the rest. All other invocatory prayer will ask for something. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Punaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvinavadidamastu Mavidvishavahai, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, all invocatory prayer will ask for Vigna Nivritti. Bhadram karne vishnuyama devaha, Bhadram pashyema kshabirya jatraha, Sthirairange sushtuvagusastanubihi, Shema devahitam yajayu. Now, all invocatory prayer is Vigna Nivritti, asking for something. Purnamada is very different. It's not asking for anything. It only makes a statement. Therefore, traditionally, the Purnamada itself becomes the first mantra of the Upanishad. Even though later on, to follow the tradition, we made Purnamada as an invocatory prayer. In the past, in the olden thing, Purnamada itself becomes the first mantra. Why? Because Shanti Pata must have a rule. What is the rule of Shanti Pata? It must ask for Vigna Nivritti. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Let this study make us brilliant. Ma Vidvishavahai. Let us not quarrel with. Let us not fight with each other. Teacher to be fight poduvangala. Yeah, how can you fight with the teacher? But then when you don't have emotional maturity, you will fight. Yeah, fight implies lack of emotional maturity. So you will fight, which the Upanishad accepts it and says, Ma vid vishavahai, let us not quarrel. Why? Because teacher is irritating you all the time. Yes, teacher means who's poking at you all the time, irritating you all the time, waking you up all the time. Because we want lullaby. We want lullaby and he is ringing bell and waking you up. Now, and then sometimes you say, okay, enough, just sing lullaby also at times. Isn't it? So, Ma with Vishavahai, all that. So, may my limbs be strong, may this be strong, may that be strong. All that indicates a prayer. Prayer means setting a conducive environment for the study. That's why the Shanti Pata must be understood. Shanti Pata must be given the status of Vigneshwara Puja. அதனால அந்த ஒரு sanctity கொடுக்கணும். It's not like bell அடிச்சா class ஆரம்பிக்கிற மாதிரி கிடையாது. Invocatory prayer is not like in the school, when they ring the bell, the class will start. It's not like that. It has a sanctity. What is the sanctity? Vigneshwara Puja, sanctity it has. That's why after saying the prayer, I always pray. If you have seen, after saying the invocatory prayer, I always bow down and I do my namaskar. At least from my side, I want to ensure that I have done the, I think namaskara you have to do. Why? Because it is the Shanti Pata. This is as far as the introduction to the Shanti Pata is concerned. And then we'll go to the mantra itself. Then we'll go to the mantra. So first, encyclopedia Mari, we studied what is Veda. It has everything in it. And then it is, and then some knowledges is of making the objects and everything, how to make use of the objects for your betterment is science, and it is a scientific knowledge. Another kind of knowledge, the Dharma Shastra that takes care of the Pratibandakas. And then the third kind of knowledge, which is Brahma Vidya. The Upanishad is talking about Brahma Vidya, and in this Brahma Vidya, it gives formulas for Pratibandhakas. Veda doesn't deal with a lot of the other things in the sense of how to make life better, and science and technology and all is not its major concern, even though lot of rishis have contributed to this also a lot. Lot of rishis have contributed extraordinary works in the medium of math and science and all that, but all that becomes ancillary. Ancillary na, what is ancillary? Non-detailed study. In the school when we studied, we have a book called non-detailed, no? It means what? What is a non-detailed book means? You can study, you can leave it out of choice, but no questions will come from that, isn't it? Non-detailed study means no questions will come from, then why study that only? Yeah, so all this gives that status. But here, the main thing, because the Vedas itself differs in the swaras. Remember, when we say 5 Vedas, it's not 5 different books. The swara makes the difference. 80-85% of the mantras will be the same in all the Vedas. Mantras will be the same. The swara brings the difference. And why the swara and all brings the difference? That's a different subject altogether, which I'm not getting into at all. That's a study of the Siksha. Because the knowledge has to be transmitted orally. And when knowledge is transmitted orally, it has to be very precise. And if it has to be very precise, the Siksha, what the Mundaka Upanishad says as Veda Anga. Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chando, Jyotishamisi. That of the Siksha, Taittiriya Upanishad start with Siksha Valli. Now let us learn how to. First thing when you do language, you need to know how to pronounce it. No. Well, now let us do Siksha. Taittiriya Upanishad starts with it. In the traditional teaching method, Siksha Valli, we start with Taittiriya only. In the school, we started with Taittiriya. In standard 6, we started with this Taittiriya, Siksha Valli, etc. Now there, they talk about the swaras. And the swara is what mathematics is all about. And there are 9 methods of swara. 9 methods. So that when the knowledge is transferred orally, chances of interpolation, corruption, addition, deletion and all is more. Now, how to keep the knowledge intact? So that generation after generation, the original knowledge is transferred. That's how the knowledge as it was in the past, the Upanishads, we still have it. Because of the swara, the Siksha, the Niruktam and all put together kept it so tight. That's why to study the Upanishads, which is the Vedas, we need a background, little bit of knowledge of all that. Now don't ask me where to go for all that now, Amit. Sir, which book you refer for Siksha, which book you refer for Niruttam and all, don't ask now. Whatever is needed, I keep saying in between. Now, the swara is very important. So the swara brings the difference. Why that swara? Like for example, in the Vedic tradition, we have a person called Ganapati. Gana is a way of swara. It's pure mathematics. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. Oh God, it's like the computer programming it is. It's like that computer program. So that the way they chant and all that, so they test. And if any one goes wrong, the whole, we know somebody has added something or deleted something. We say, no, 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 go back, go back. You are, now you are giving your Upanishad, you are not giving Īśāvāsyopaniṣad. That's how the knowledge is kept so intact. Now, that's a totally different subject altogether, which is not the theme here, but still why I'm mentioning it is because in the Upanishad, the swara is very important. So actually in the Shukla Yajurveda style, which is of this Upanishad, Purnamada, Purnamidam, அப்படி பண்ணக்கூடாது. That style is another Upanishad. So in the Shukla Yajurveda Shanti Pata எப்படி சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா பூர்ணமத பூர்ணமிதம் அப்படி ஒரு flat-ஆ போகும். It will not give you that. It will not give you that. Why? Because this is the swara style of this Veda. This is the swara style of this Veda. Each and every Veda has its own style. And Shanti Pata is the starting point of the Upanishad. And the starting point of this Upanishad is Purnamada. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadhaya, Purnameva Vasishyate. Namaskaraha Shantipata versus Vastu Kriya Shantipata is the technical difference. Namaskaraha Shantipata, Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Bhadram Karnebi and all that. There you are prostrating. Another kind of Shantipata which is very unique is called as Vastu Nirdesha. Vastu Nirdesha means establishing the subject matter. So, Īśāvāsya starts with establishing the subject matter at the invocatory prayer itself. That's why this Upanishad is slightly different. This Īśāvāsya has, each and every Upanishad has a uniqueness. When we go to Kena Upanishad, we will explain what is the uniqueness of Kena. And when we go to each and every Upanishad has its own thing. Therefore, the Purnamada Purnamidam is not a Namaskriya Shantipata. It is the Shantipata of establishing the subject matter from the beginning. And what is the subject matter? Purnam. Purnam is the subject matter. Purnam adaha, Purnam idam, etc. Now you understood how you are going to study. Just the word Upanishad, we finished off. One long story we said with the word Upanishad, and we did time pass today. From next week, we will actually get into the mantra. From next week, we'll go into the mantra, and then keeping to the modern thinking, we will call it as invocatory prayer only. Keeping to that, we are not going to change that. We'll call it as invocatory prayer. And then we will chant it in the way that we are used to chanting. We will not change the swara and all. We will not change the swara because then it becomes a chanting training class, which we are not doing here. So, but then we need to know what is the differences of the Vedas. It's the Siksha, the swara, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. Therefore, even though sometimes Sometimes it will say 3, sometimes it will say 4, sometimes it will say 5. When they say 3, it means Rig, Yajur, Sama. The Vedas themselves addresses itself as 3. Trayi, it will say in some places. Trayi means 3. Rig, Yajur, Sama. What happens to Atharva? It's there. Some, it will say 4. Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. In some places, it is 5. Why? Because this Yajurveda itself is divided into 2. Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. Shukla means white. Shukla means white. Krishna means dark, black. You know, our scriptures have only body shaming names. Huh? It doesn't give the original name. It only has body shaming names. Ashtavakra, body shaming name it is. Nondin per வைப்பாங்களா yeah, but then, you know, that is Ashtavakra. Krishna means blackie. Shukla means whitey, Maida Madri. Yeah, Shukla means, that Maida white. Krishna means dark. Ashtavakra means crooked. I don't know why we study all these things. Huh? So Krishna Yajurveda means dark. And then what is the dark? What is the Shukla? That we will start next week. Why that came in and what is the distinction? And then we will go into the Purnamada, Purnamidam. And because we are doing the Upanishad, we will try to keep the class also like an encyclopedia class. So that word by word we can go. We have enough time. Many janmas we have to cover. So we are not in a hurry to finish the mantras. So we'll go slowly, like a goods train we will go. We'll continue next week with the invocatory prayer.